Choppa. Let's get to the Choppa now and go buy some AKs. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is Sunday morning. It is way too early. It's 7:30 a.m. Central Time here in God's country, Nebraska. It is time for Caliber Corner Season 4, episode number 228, maybe. I don't even know at this point. And today we are going to be talking about buying an AK-47 in 2022. What do you need to know? Because the landscape has changed tremendously since 2016 or since post-election times. You got a lot of different brands and options. Prices on certain models have definitely gone up. I was at a firearms auction all day yesterday, and there was a couple AKs that kind of broke the bank. I saw a Vepr go for 2,100, 2,150, an unfired Vepr. So some of these AKs you might have had your eyes on for a while are going up in price. So we're going to see what kind of options we have right now. We'll talk calibers, prices, brands, and all that fun stuff. Before we do that, we're going to go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves. Got a few announcements to make. And then we'll go ahead and get started. We're just going to go for an hour. Then I want you guys all to head over to Gizzard Gary's channel and watch his chat this morning. They got a wonderful Sunday morning show that Gizzard Gary does. So off to my right, I've got a little squib load going on. Squib, how's your morning going? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Surprisingly, it's early, but I've already got some Arbuckles Mexicali. I'm ready to go.
There you go, man. You're good. You'll finally be awake when we're done. And then you're like, well, what do I do now? You know?
I was preparing for the show last night by trying out an R&L Displays
Oh,
AK
yes.
display.
Oh, you got that. You have that? You got the AK display?
Yeah, got one of the pre-production batches. Yeah.
So while we're talking about it, you got to head over to rnldisplays.com. I feel like a used car salesman. rnldisplays.com. They're not a sponsor of the channel, but they have sent me some of these cool display stands to show off some of the hardware. Think of it as finer furniture to display your AK, your AR, and yes, they are Glock mag compatible. This will work with your pistol caliber carbines that take Glock magazines. So just keep that in mind. So head on over to rnldisplays.com. Squib has already put that address down there. And as usual, if you use the discount code TP11, you will get 11% off your order plus an additional 4% just because I care. So that's going to be 15% off your order. So because 11 plus 4 is 15, right? Unless it's Common Core math. All right. So Squib, what's new on your channel, man? What you been up to lately? You got anything good coming up there or what?
Yesterday I was just having some fun with some beer on camera. And I might be doing a coffee maker review, maybe. As usual, scrapped more footage than published. So yeah, just messing around. I got some black powder stuff coming, I hope. I don't know what else. Actually, I haven't even looked in the studio to see what I have unlisted that I need to schedule.
That's all right, man. It's always a good problem to have. I'm only pushing out about a video a week right now, but it's kind of nice to have something new coming out all the time. You should do like a full length, like 45-minute, nothing fancy style review of the coffee maker where like you do the unboxing, you go over the ergonomics, and then you show it like on the range being used, like show it in the kitchen, and you're talking through the brewing process, and you know.
I shot over an hour of footage unboxing this thing and trying to figure out how to use it because it didn't come with instructions.
That's what you were saying. Is trying to figure out how to set the timer. You know, it's like
I got it down to 30 minutes, and then I'm watching this thing going, no, I can't do this. So I think I can get it down to like maybe 12 or 13.
I'm telling you, on my B channel, my coffee maker review is one of my most successful videos. You wouldn't think, but you know.
So do the unboxing, keep that footage, right, and then cut it off. I want to say that's at like a 7 or 8 minute mark, and then show all the things that I figured out over the past week, because you literally have to figure out how this thing, there are no instructions.
And of course, nowadays they use symbols instead of words, thanks to Google. So, you know, there's the communication part's difficult if you don't know what something is, you know?
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to do that one or whatnot, but I don't know. Maybe next week I'll spend a little bit more time shooting footage and less time watching other people's videos, because it's easier just to watch other people's videos.
Always. You guys get a chance going over to Squibload's channel. I want you guys all to subscribe, leave lots of comments on there. Whatever you're feeling, just let Squib have it. Just let him have it. So there you go. Oh, man. All right. Also joining us now from out east, we've got, the southeast, we've got AWAG. AWAG, how's your morning going? Are you good?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Good to have you with us. And I'll be kind of falling on you for some advice on AK, information and things like that. We've got some good information to give people, but you're one of those people that has a lot of experience with the AK platform and maybe you can kind of veer us in a certain direction towards certain styles or model types and whatnot. And we'll check it out. So guys, make sure you check out AWAG's channel. He's got a lot of good content over in his channel. What do you got coming up? Anything new coming up anytime soon?
I'm working on a couple things in editing. It's probably going to be one of my more heavily edited videos. And just me fooling around.
Okay.
Doing stupid things.
Yeah, that's all right, man. You're young. You gotta have that enjoyment before you get married and get settled down and have 20 kids and stuff, and then you can't get to the range anymore. And tell you what, AWAG, just enjoy it while you can, brother. Enjoy it while you can. All right. And also, last person joining us on the panel today, we've got a little single shot. Single shot, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Good morning. Thanks for the invite.
Right.
Good morning, fellas. In the chat. Hope y'all
It feels kind of weird being here on a Sunday, but we're here, so we're gonna do what we can today for just a little while. But
yep.
So what you been up to these days, man? You staying busy?
Oh yeah, plenty busy. I'm on a run now that's got one stop in Wisconsin tomorrow, and then we're going over into Minnesota for the last stop. So got a good run this time. It's raining out here where I'm at, here in eastern Ohio.
You guys are catching what we had yesterday and the day before. It's all moving its way east. So we had a nice overnight rain shower here in Lincoln. It was good because it was getting so crispy and dry. It was just crazy. So although today we have a fire warning all day today, which I don't know how anything could light up when it's still soggy outside, but it's possible with enough dry air and some wind. But yeah. Cool, man. Cool. Well, glad to have you with us today. Are you much of an AK guy at all? I guess I've never really had this discussion with you.
I'd like to get one. I mean, that's something that I'd like to add to the collection, but I've just never had the chance to pick one up at a half decent price. So
yeah,
things are quite expensive these days.
Yeah, we're gonna talk price because it's like a car, like anything. You can basically spend whatever you want on an AK-47 these days, and unfortunately, a lot of those ones that a lot of us have had our eyes on, like Arsenals and Vepers and things like that, are just they're really getting pricey right now. Even your Zastavas are getting up in price too. Pushing $1,000. So some of these are. I was at an auction yesterday, single shot, and they had a Veper that was brand new in the box that went for $2,100.
Holy smoke!
Had just polymer furniture and a fixed stock. It wasn't a thumbhole stock; it was a pistol grip.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. But yeah, $2,150 for that thing. I was like, holy! I mean, I knew it was going to push close to $2,000, but you can if you look around, you can get one for $15.
Yeah, it's not like I'm unfamiliar with the 7.62x39 round because I have a 10-inch barrel, bull barrel that goes on my Encore frame, and I built an AR platform 7.62x39 here a while ago. So I can play with a round, I can cast bullets for it, and I can reload it.
And that's always a nice, cheaper alternative. We've done an episode on what I call the AR-47 before, where we talked about it. They're fun, but there's a lot of little finicky things that come along with them.
Yeah.
So to me, it's nice to be able to shoot that round because for a while that was cheaper than 223 or 5.56. 7.62x39, but it's just there's so many little things you got to watch out for, and you can have magazine issues, and you might just get one that runs like a champ. But that's not been my experience with that particular platform.
Yeah.
So, yeah, tacos and French fries. Hey, let's give a shout out to people watching on the YouTube side. We got Pat Hirsch out there. We've got E-Rock out there. Tacos and French fries is watching. G23. I'm over there, of course. Squib's over there. Let's see, Gunmetal Guy USA is in the house. Young Gun 995's watching today. Let's see, Constitutional Republican is out there. Also, X Adam 1's in the house. Got a few comments from you guys. Fluffy 10mm Jeep guy. I think Mountain View said he was going to be back here in a little bit. Let's see. Constitutional Republican says, I'm a multiple AK owner. If I get another AK-47, it'll definitely be a Russian variant, as I have most of the other countries put away. Poland, Hungary, Romania, China, USA. I need me a Russian. Man, you better hurry up and get one because they are not getting any cheaper, buddy. Let's see here. X Adam 1 says, I'm a traditionalist with most of my firearms, not all, but most. AR and 5.56, AK and 7.62x39. And that's the thing. We're really not going to be talking like pistol AKs today. This is more of like the full-size rifle. Although, I mean, the pistol part could kind of fall into whatever you want to do. So I was kind of writing down, a couple things to announce real quick. We are doing a YouTuber range day up here in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's called Thunder on the Prairie 2022. And if you want to register for that, you can email me at thecalibercorner@gmail.com. And we'll talk about this in a second. The idea behind this was to kind of get anybody together that has a big YouTube channel or a small YouTube channel, just get together for range day, just have some fun, hang out, shoot some guns, maybe film some videos, go out for dinner, check out some gun stores in Lincoln and stuff like that. Just have a lot of fun and kind of bond. There's a lot of us that live in the central part of the U.S., but there's also people coming from out east and stuff. So that's going to be June 4th from 9 to 5. There are lodging options for you, very, very budget friendly lodging options that are available for you if you're interested. And if you email me, again, if you don't have a YouTube channel, but you'd like to start one, it's not really going to be a, hey, I'm just going to go use the range all day. I mean, you can expect people to be filming, a lot of like gun swapping going on and a lot of shooting going on. So if you're going to go out there thinking you're going to sit there and, tune your precision rifle the whole day, you're probably going to be bugged by a lot of people. So just kind of keep that in mind, but there's still going to be plenty of time to shoot. We got steel targets, pistol, rifle, all kinds of fun stuff that's going to happen. So that'll be taking place, again, Thunder on the Prairie 2022. And that's going to be over at Nebraska Shooters. So that's coming up. Other announcements. I've got a Thursday night show that I'm doing now called Caliber Corner, a weekly edition, and that's going to go from 6 to 7 Central Time, the greatest time zone in the world. And that show is going to be dedicated to one particular firearm or model of firearms, series of firearms that I've actually owned or shot before, so I can talk about the ownership experience or the shooting experience of that gun. So like we talked about the CZ Shadow 2 on Thursday. And then this week, we're going to talk about the PSA AR-15. I've owned several of them and just want to talk about that. Not necessarily AR-15s in general, but that particular brand, my experiences with them, how it's gone. And I'm not doing these episodes to rip on any one particular firearm. We'll talk about the pros and the cons. But that's kind of the idea behind the Thursday night show. That'll be 6 to 7 just for an hour. And we'll get out as much information as we possibly can. So anything else you guys want to add at all before we get started? Anything to throw out there? Squib or AWAG or single shot? Anything you guys want to say?
Nope.
Good to go. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to get that out about the range day coming up here. Oh, and for the range day, we asked that you guys email us by March 31st. We will give you the password that you need to be able to register for the event so that you can get signed up for it. We've already got, I want to say, probably over 8 people right now signed up for it. There's going to definitely be more. I've got a few family members that are actually going to be there too. So they'll be signing up, and I just signed up myself. So the numbers are going to be gaining slowly as we go, get closer to the sign up deadline. So, all right. So here's the deal. When it comes to buying an AK-47 now, I think one of the very first things that's going to pop up for people, it's going to be, this is what my situation was when I bought my first AR. How much money do you have available to get this AK-47, right? Or AK pattern rifle? Budget is going to be a huge impact on what you can get. And these days you can spend as little as, say, $5.99 for a blemished PSA GF3 AK-47, all the way up to thousands and thousands of dollars for, customized models, high-end models, boutique AK providers. So the first part's going to come down to your budget. Now, there's a lot you can get between, say, $600 and $1,000. You can really stretch your money out far. For me, my AK-47 experience, and this was when I was just getting started with YouTube videos. I didn't do a lot of research on the first AK that I bought, and I ended up getting a Gen 2. Let's see, what was it? The Century Arms. AWAG, help me out here. What was the one that's they call it the ticking time bomb? Help me out here. The Century Raz 47. The Raz 47.
Or the Raz.
Raz 47, which, the Gen 2 model had claimed to have like a forged trunnion and fire-treated, flame-treated bull carrier group and this and that. And then I didn't know about AK-47 Operators Union and the wear and tear testing that he does on AKs and the problems that people were having with the headspace and stuff. I shot about 200 rounds through it. It was fine. It was a cool AK. It's what I learned to shoot an AK on. But I didn't realize how critical people were of that gun. And maybe I let the reviews get to me because shortly after buying it, I went ahead and sold it. And I told the person buying it, I said, do your research on it. Just know what you're getting yourself into. It does have a good warranty with it. Mine was well built. I had no problems with it. The wood furniture was beautiful on it. But I ended up selling it. And then after that, I thought to myself, I am never, ever going to buy an American-made AK-47 ever again. We can't do it right. I'm going to go European. So then I bought an AMD 63 built off a Hungarian parts kit. Now, this one was made by James River Armory, which is very hit or miss Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock with a lot of people, because James River Armory, they've really messed up some rifles in the past that people have bought. And then some people bought rifles from them, and they've been absolutely fantastic. And I hear the company is not always very friendly to contact with customer service. Now, this is just what I hear. This is not what I know. When I contacted James River Armory asking for a manual for my gun, They sent me a really nice instruction manual because I didn't get one with it. And part of it was because it wasn't a regular production rifle. It was a special run of AMD 63s that they were making, 63, 65s. Mine had a fixed stock on it and had a tack rail on the front. I still have it. It's got a 4140 barrel, doesn't have a 4150. And so I've got that gun and it's fun. But I'm currently myself in the market for a new AK. And I'm looking at around $1,200 for my budget. And I don't know which way to go. Part of me is torn. Part of me would like to go with like a GF5 PSA with the FN barrel. But then I also really like what Riley Defense is putting out there. And I'm not working with any of these companies. I have no endorsements set up with any of them, no testers coming my way. Just looking at what they put behind the rifle and speaking with people that are owners of these rifles and people that actually know the company and know members that work at the company. So I'm really torn right now. I don't know which way to go. So just run this around the panel. Squib, kind of what's your take on the price of AKs these days? Do you think they're overpriced? Or do you think it's just the normal progression of prices? Or have AKs always been this expensive? Squid, what do you think on that?
I think they're overpriced, but I think it's because the demand drives the market. If people are willing to pay it, these gun companies, these distributors, and these retailers are going to sell their guns for those prices. It's as simple as that. It's just kind of like the high ammo prices. I mean, and we say it all the time, right? If everybody just quit buying ammo for like a month, everything will just go back to nobody's about to do that. There are people out there go, are you kidding, man? I can't go.
Well, like my situation, I got a gun channel and I've tried sitting on my reserves and I've stretched my reserves out since 2016. I've done my part and I'm sorry, I got to buy ammo now. I don't have a choice. All right. I've done my part to not buy ammo unless I absolutely had to. So,
right.
Or if I did buy it, I was buying it before the prices went crazy right up to the election. So, yeah.
But what I'm saying though is that there are people out there that are saying they literally can't go without buying it if they and I'm not one of these people who says we all have to do the same thing, because there's caveats with that I don't necessarily agree with. I'm saying in theory, right? In theory, we've said you want to get the ammo prices back to normal. Seriously, just don't buy it for a month. Watch what happens. Well, it's the same thing with AKs. If there was suddenly like just no market for AKs, these companies would be lowering their prices in order to compete. Right now, they don't have to do that because lots of people want these guns. They're willing to pay the price. I get it. It's the same thing with any other commodity. If there's a shortage, they definitely raise the price. Even though, what's kind of funny is when there's shortages, it doesn't necessarily mean you can't find it, right?
Or you can. It's just not the price you want to pay.
Right. Or if the commodity is worth so much on the market, like we're seeing that with oil prices, right? It's not like there's lines at the gas station. They're saying we have no gas. This isn't, the 70s all over again, but they're able to raise the price of fuel and people will pay it. So I think as long as the demand is there, you're going to be stuck with it. And we've seen this with other things in the firearms market, go up and go down and go up. And I mean, there was a time where you could buy AKs all day long for $350, right?
Okay, but let's adjust that for inflation. What does that equal these days? Like 500 is what they would have cost now if you could get them in today's money at that
I'm talking about, less than 20 years ago, you could have bought them for $350, but how many different companies were selling AKs at that time, right? At that time, you couldn't even find American-made AKs. You couldn't.
Oh, yeah. No.
So because there's more companies making them, there's more varieties, and now you actually have, more American companies making them, and their reputation has become more reliable. I'd say that's kind of helped drive the price.
In your experience that you have, and this is a company I'm interested in PSA, but then I'm also interested in Riley Defense. And you've got a Riley Defense AK. Your son does, right? You
Correct.
Talked about this before and you've shown it, you've done a video on it. How's that been overall? Has it had any issues? What's your take on the build quality, the craftsmanship? Does it look well made? Did it have any rivet issues or any casting problems or anything like that at all that you notice?
I kind of looked for it to be a little bit rough. And at first I kind of looked at it with a bias. Because I just, first off, the price I was like, dang.
But he bought it during panic time, so he probably paid about $200 more than you normally would. Because I think they're $799 for the Rack 47, which is their entry level model.
And well, the kid works hard. He makes good money. He works hard. He earned it. But I was kind of looking for stuff like that. But then after I got a closer look at it, we got to handle it. Even clean it a little bit. Not that it came dirty, but after we took it to the range, clean it up a little bit. I'm like, the finish on this it's AK quality. I mean, it's not like subpar and just and I contacted the company on behalf of him to set up his warranty, and I had a pretty good customer experience with the company. They even when I contacted them, they said, "What size T-shirt does your son wear?" And I told them, and I didn't think nothing of it. Okay, that's a weird question. And next thing you know, there's a T-shirt in the mail for him. Because I did ask him at the time. I said, "Do you sell any swag?" And they said, "Not yet. I haven't gone back to their site to see if they do now."
I think they've got T-shirts now, because I've been looking up AKs on their website. Those guys in PSA, yeah.
Yeah, and I was talking to him just from the standpoint of, if you sold something like that, that would be, and they said something like, we don't have it yet. We're looking at it. See, I'm on their site right now, and I still don't see any swag, but I didn't think that because they were asking about his T-shirt that they were necessarily going to mail one. I thought maybe they were trying to figure out, how many of this size or that size should we stock if we start selling swag, right? No, they sent him a T-shirt and all that. They, did the warranty. They didn't go, "Sorry, your son has to do it. You can't," and I understand
we don't ship to your state,
right, and stuff like that. They were all, and overall though, comparing it to the Wasser that I've got, I thought it was equivalent to the Wasser. I like the fact that it was all American made. I did talk to him about that. I said, nope, all of our parts are American made. We don't bolt on,
outsource,
And I said, well, what country did you model yours after? And we didn't really model it after any particular country or anything else like that.
It's not a Polish style or anything like that, or like a Yugo style. Yeah.
And since then, we've changed out the compensator. We went ahead and took the slant compensator off of it and put one on that works a little bit better and still works with a bayonet. And put a sling on it and whatnot. Tried out different mags in it. Worked with different mags. Didn't have a problem. Tried all kinds of different ammo in it. We tried to make this thing jam, and it just wouldn't jam. So I was pretty happy because my Wasser had jamming issues right out the box. And Century made it right.
See, I was gonna say I really wanted a Wasser. I thought about buying a Wasser because they're $800 or $900, and they're is it Bulgarian? I can't remember what's
Romanian.
Romanian
with American parts. They've got one more part than they need to be 922R compliant that's made in America. So whatever it is, like if it's 13 parts, they've got 14 on there or whatever it is. But because I had that experience with my Wasser and I had to get it taken care of under warranty not long after I got it, and Century told me there's only a 1-year warranty on this. Good thing you made this call when you did, otherwise it'd be out of your own pocket. Well, Riley doesn't have that. Riley's like, nope, if there's a problem down the road, just let us know. It's a lifetime warranty. So I was like, wow. I mean, just customer service right out the box, or right out the gate there, and I was really happy. But yeah, we were trying to do all kinds of things to it to see if it would jam, because I was trying to repeat my experience with the Wasser, and I'm not knocking the Wasser either. It's a nice gun. I know they had problems with the early ones, and it's the same thing with other guns. People were going to knock Henry because they had problems with the early 22s, and now they don't have those issues. Plus, they more established, better warranty on those as well. So, the Riley. If you were going to get an AK, you wanted to support American jobs, and you wanted something with a great warranty that it looks like an AK, it runs like an AK, I would just go ahead and go with the Riley. I really would. They've got a pistol, and I'm looking at it, and I other than the plastic furniture on there, I'd like wood furniture on there. They've got a pistol. The thing is, though, it's pretty pricey, but when I look at the Micro Draco, that's pretty pricey too. So
yeah, and $800 is pretty much the norm.
These are like $1,100.
$1,100. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing is, this is got a full size set of handguards on it, and I kind of like the Micro Draco where it's a stubbier handguard. So if I got a Riley, I would have to. There's no way I could make the Micro handguard fit on there. There's no way I could shorten it up a little bit more. So. Which one would I go with? Because I know this isn't a pistol show, but if I was going to get another, I would get a pistol. Would I go with the Draco or the Riley? Or if they're going for the same price, I guess whoever had it in stock when I had the money burning a hole in my pocket.
Yeah, and then also, we got PSA, which has a million options too. Like on their GF3s, they've got like 100 different, variants you can go with also if you want to start on the low end. So for price, but. Yeah, I really like the Riley Defense ones, and then like I said, I'm also looking at the PSA. If I went PSA, I'd probably go with whatever the GF4, GF5, whatever has the the FN barrel, just because it would be probably the last AK I think I would probably ever need or buy, just because I'm already sitting on quite a few firearms right now. But
I think if
yeah.
the imports are going to give Riley a run for their money, they're going to have to keep their prices low enough that, you know, if they're almost the same price, why wouldn't you just go ahead and buy an American-made one? And, you know, people have said, like you were saying at the beginning, you know, Americans can't make AKs and stuff. Like, there were companies making AKs in America before, like Childers and whatnot. But the problem is that they're just the price. They couldn't beat the foreign jobs. And everybody had this, oh, we can't, you know, even the company's saying we can't copy them. It's like, what are you talking about? They make these in huts in Afghanistan. What are you talking? It's, you know,
yeah,
it's really not that difficult to duplicate. It really isn't.
As a consumer, it's been really frustrating to see the problems that American AKs have had. I'm like thinking, with our ingenuity and our technology and our know-how, we can't match something that was made in a Russian factory
a guy
60
made
years ago.
a guy made this in a railroad depot
with like a ball peen hammer and like a
Yes.
punch set, and this guy
Yes.
assembled it. And you can't even do it with all of your fancy machining and our American ingenuity and build. It's like, or is it because they're trying to cheap out on the components to increase the profit margin on every gun sold? That's the big thing, you know. But I would be okay now. I'm not against buying an American-made AK. Like I said, I'm considering it now myself. It's just 7 or 8 years ago when I first kind of got into this, when I bought my first AK, I was really disappointed to hear about the problems they were having. It's like, why wouldn't you test that before you sold it? Or why wouldn't you do more? Constitutional Republican out there says, I'll vouch Riley Defense is decent, torture tested at 10,000 rounds. I paid $1,200 for my Micro Draco. Which, again, guys, you shouldn't be balking at $1,200, because if you're pricing AKs, a lot of them start at $1,000 and they go up from there. So you just got to keep that in mind. So AWAG, here's a question I have for you. A person's looking for an AK. Should they or should they not buy one that has a parts kit origin? Are you kind of setting yourself up for problems? Or if you're only going to go parts kit, should you go with a higher end boutique manufacturer? Because I've seen horror stories. I'm not going to just rip on Century, but other companies that have brought a parts kit over and they put together the gun. It's got canted sights and it's got a crappy barrel. It's got pitting on it. What's kind of your take on a whole parts kit idea?
In all reality, some of those parts kits builds, besides the shoddy kind of front sights, because a lot of these parts kits, they're made that way overseas. They don't take as much care into building these firearms as people would like to believe.
Yes, we expect sub MOA from our AKs in America.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
If we don't have it, it's crap. So,
but
yeah,
a lot. I got a Yugo M70. What is it? The B1 with the fixed stock. That had its original barrel, original pins. Everything's already set and ready to go with it. All you have to do is press it into the trunnion, and you're ready to rock and roll. The front sights on those were very canted, but the rifle still shot just fine. And with the Yugos, they don't have any chrome line bores. They don't have any of that, because it was a war gun. It was basically just slapped together to go shoot at people.
Nowadays, the Zasavas have chrome line barrels, right? Don't they all come with chrome line barrels?
I believe so.
I think the Zasavas do. Yeah, they might have maybe they have a lower end one that doesn't, but they're at least nitride, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, which doesn't matter, because we're not shooting corrosive ammo. Unless you are shooting corrosive ammo, then it's an issue. But
yeah. Ultimately, like with parts kits, if you can get a parts kit, then absolutely, get a parts kit and either have a professional build it for you, like Rifle Dynamics or Meridian. Or, you can attempt to build it yourself. Just take your time and make sure you do all of your research. I have an AK that I've slapped together using 6 different parts kits, and it's still running just fine. It's straight as a board and just shoots absolutely amazingly. After 6 years of brutal abuse, 3-gun, and an uncountable amount of thousands of rounds. So, it's most of the time those parts kits are good.
So here's an interesting little point here. So there might be somebody looking at the high end now. Somebody says, well, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to get a really nice one. Like when I bought my most recent AR-15, I decided to go with the Daniel Defense, even though I've been a Bear Creek fan and a PSA fan. I wanted something that I would say is like, battle tested, that was combat ready, right? I wanted to get a really nice AR, and I don't regret buying it at all. But now Scott79 out there, he made a comment that said, I would not recommend Rifle Dynamics now that Jim Fuller does not own it. So here's the question. Did Jim Fuller build every single AK by himself?
No.
That every customer ordered?
No, he didn't.
You don't think they can maintain those customer standards without them there? Or do you think Rifle Dynamics is going to take a nosedive now that he's not there to maintain the quality?
So if you know and understand how a business person acts, is when they build a company and they want to sell it, ultimately the decision is up to the person buying the company. But usually there's between the two owners, like, hey, I want to see this maintain this kind of quality. I don't want to have my reputation tarnished, because a lot of people didn't know that Jim Fuller sold Rifle Dynamics. So there's definitely still talking between these two owners of this company, and they want to maintain that level of quality.
Oh, so Scott says no, but all the builders that Jim trained have left Rifle Dynamics. See, that can make a big difference right there. That kind of reminds me when was it, Remington bought Marlin and moved it, or was it Remington that moved it to New York, and then they didn't really bring any of the Marlin gunsmiths with them, and then we had 5 or 6 years of teething that the 3030 had to take, the 336 had to take before Marlin got all their problems figured out with the gun, because they didn't bring their assemblers with them, their gunsmiths with them to build those guns. You got to bring somebody new in. It's like, okay, now you're paying a premium price for a subpar product. You're not going to get that edge you were expecting before. Now, Bearded Lunchbox does say that I only paid $800 for my Riley Defense. I've got about 1,000 rounds through her. Runs better than my buddy's Wasser. Constitutional Republican says, yeah, I'm the one who had issues with Bear Creek Arsenal, and I haven't recommended them since my multiple issues with them. I've seen others pleased. I wasn't. And Constitutional Republican, they're like, Bear Creek is like 10-3 with me right now on the ARs and the AR-47s that I bought from them, and the testers they've sent me. They're not perfect with me either. And I can understand where you're coming from, because I know you had some negative customer service experiences with them. Single shot. So with an AK-47 single shot, would you consider going with something? Would you go American made, like a Riley Defense or PSA, or are you looking at going with a Wasser? Or do you want to go get a Vepr or go get an Arsenal? What are you thinking?
I'm not sure. I think I'd rather go with a PSA or something like that, because I know they're built here in this country. So, it's just a matter of being able to have that customer service that everybody desires. And, like I say, I can shoot the round. That's not a problem. So we can play with that a little bit if it does have a little bit of an issue with accuracy, whatever. That's the thing about reloading, is you be able to match the ammunition to the firearm. So you can help alleviate a lot of those problems as well. But I've held a couple, 3 of the foreign-made rifles. They're nice, and they've got a pretty good reputation as far as being reliable. But as far as shooting an AK, believe it or not, I have not fired an AK yet.
Okay, well, you need to take our advice and go get one after today's episode. I gotcha. Of course, it's your money, so
if I had the money.
Now, again, not to rip on Century, Century Arms, but I believe they might have changed this, but the majority of their AKs only come with a 1-year warranty on them, a 1-year guarantee. Yeah. And a person might not put that many rounds through it that first year, or you might put a lot of rounds through it and then start to have problems with it. I'd rather have one where if I got problems with it a couple years down the road, or if something breaks and I can't fix it, or it comes out of headspace, I can send it in and get it replaced or get it repaired. I mean, I kind of like that, especially if you're only going to have one and you're going to compete with it, or you're going to shoot it, or you just happen to shoot all the time and you're going to put some wear and tear on it. That does give you some peace of mind. Obviously, the gun should last, but these are tools. Tools wear out, parts wear out over time. So you don't always have an option. It's just something that happens. So like I said, I'm either going to go PSA or Riley Defense. One of the two. I haven't decided yet which route that I want to go. So yeah,
I'm pretty well versed on the gunsmith and things too. I built some ARs and a few other rifles and stuff, but, done repair work on things. If I did end up getting a kit gun and building it, it's just a question of having the correct tools to do with, to put it together properly. So.
See on the YouTube side, G23 is saying, are you going to mention Storm and Norman Gunworks? Yeah, Storm and Norman Gunworks is another company to contact. Storm and Norman's out there in California, and he does a lot of different builds. I've only seen his AR builds, his AR platform builds. I haven't looked for his AK builds. If he's doing any, I probably should go check out his store. But yeah, do check out Storm and Norman Gunworks, especially if you live in California. That's an FFL that you can go through. Patriot in the Dark says, are Arsenals all that great? Are they worth it or not? AWAG, what do you think on this one? Arsenals, are they everything that are they worth $1,500 or not?
Honestly,
uh-oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
I mean, PSA has done a very good job with their AKs. You know, I mess around with a bunch of PSA AKs all the time. A bunch of my friends have them. Arsenals are nice. They're very nice guns. If you want something that you can basically say, like, hey, I'm gonna have this gun forever and whatnot, it's still a really tough call between a PSA and an Arsenal. I think it's one of those things. It's kind of like the Noveski and the
Damnable Defense, or like RC or what, LWCI, some of these other companies,
LWRC,
LMT, or Bravo Company. Yeah.
If you want a genuine Bulgarian, like Eastern European AK, definitely go with an Arsenal. But if you want something that you can use and have fun with, and it'll actually like work the same amount as an Arsenal, go with a PSA.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the Arsenals, and nothing against them, but like the mill models are $1,800. Their entry level model, their SLR 107R is $1,600, $1,599.
So I don't know about Arsenal's warranty program, but a lot of people like to complain about like the quality control of stuff like for PSA, but PSA has their unlimited lifetime warranty, guaranteed for life. If there is a problem, send it back.
Yeah, just get it fixed if there's an issue with it. It's that simple. Let's see here. Scott79 said, I would say in general, you're better off to go with imported unless it is a Pioneer Arms, then you just bought a hand grenade. So the Pioneer Arms guns are manufactured in Poland, and then they're brought over and finished in the USA. If the AK that you bought, AWAG, it's a bad thing if it has that rubber buffer on the recoil spring, right? That means it was built out of spec. That's a problem, right? Or it can become a problem if there's a little rubber buffer on your recoil spring.
A lot of my mentality with that is if you have to put a buffer on an AK, you're overgassing it, and it's basically like hey, we don't care about the quality of our of our stuff. Now there is a difference. I think the PSA AKVs do come with a buffer. However,
they do. Mine does.
That's a 9mm blowback. They're made to eject hard.
And I believe the Visca, or not the Visca, but whatever the AKV is based on, I believe that also has the same thing. So it's not unheard of for that particular platform to have one. Yeah, I have one, and I've shot several hundred rounds from my AKV, and that buffer's not showing anywhere. I did buy the emergency repair kit that they sell for that gun, so it comes with like an extractor and a firing pin and the buffer and stuff like that. So if you have any kind of a failure, you can fix it out in the field. But I've yet to actually wear the buffer out on it because it's just it's just at the very end of the recoil stroke. But yeah. So Warsaw Patriots out there, and again, he's one of the reasons why I'm considering going with Riley Defense. I was having a chat with him about the different AKs that are out there and what your options are. Now, Warsaw Patriot says, look up the Arsenal FIME enhanced trigger. It's the best hands down light pull and smooth trigger that I've bought. Yeah, we've also got the Geisley ALG. Is it ALG? Geisley ALG trigger? I can't remember. Geisley makes one that's like maybe $100, or just the ALG trigger.
ALG.
It's not made by Geisley. It's a division of Geisley. So
no, it's the wife's company.
The wife's company. Yeah. But a lot of people, unfortunately refer to it as a Geisley, but it's not. Yep.
So I got the my Romanian PSL had the FIME enhanced group trigger group. It is a very good trigger group. I do find it kind of tough to distinguish the FIME enhanced and the I think Hyperfire. I was playing with it yesterday. The Hyperfire AK trigger. They're both very good trigger groups. The ALG is light. Sometimes I think it's a little too light if you're not expecting it. But the ALG is a good option. The FIME is a good option. Hyperfire is a good option. I don't know how much the Hyperfire AK triggers are, but yeah, all those are any type of enhanced trigger for the AK is actually pretty good. I haven't tried the CMC drop-in trigger. I think it's kind of redundant to have a quote-unquote drop-in for an AK. I don't know.
Yeah. So now the next consideration, now that you've got your budget figured out, now here's the big one. What caliber do you go with? Do you do 7.62 by 39? Do you do 5.56 or do you go 5.45? Now, before you say, oh, 5.45 is way too expensive, the price difference per round between 5.45 and 7.62 by 39 is 4 cents a round. You can buy 1,000 rounds of Tula 5.45 for $410. You can buy 1,000 rounds of Max Tech Essential Steel 7.62 by 39, 124 grain ammo for $370. So for $40 more, if you want the 5.45 experience, you can still get 5.45. It's out there. It's plentiful. There's a ton of it over for sale on AmmoSeek. You can get it at, I'm looking right now, $8.24 for a box of 20 versus like $7.25 for a box of 7.62 by 39. So honestly, I would say go 7.62 by 39, even with like the Russian, the license ending of the importation of Russian ammo that's going to be happening. We're going to probably, if that doesn't change, we're probably going to see that Russian ammo dry up in a couple of years, because right now it seems like the prices haven't skyrocketed on Russian imported ammo. And those orders that were coming in before the edict came down of no more ammo coming in from Russia, those orders are still being honored. Those orders are still able to go through. It just said anything, the licenses aren't going to be renewed on the importers after this time or once their license expires. So if you got an importer that was bringing in ammo and the Biden administration order came out that, we're not renewing anybody's licenses today, but you just renewed yours a month ago and you're good for a year, you got 11 more months of ammo importation you can do. So places like, Atlantic Firearms or Classic, they can still work through their importers and get the ammo. That's why we're still seeing Tula and Wolf and all these Barnall still showing up. But eventually at some point, those may disappear. But I would think by that point, we're going to maybe see more domestic or non-Russian sourced ammo showing up. I'm already starting to see like Serbian ammo showing up at my local Shields and Bulgarian ammo showing up at Shields. You're getting it from other countries now, non-corrosive ammo. It's not just Russian anymore. Domestically speaking, PSA had been talking about getting into ammo manufacturers. So hopefully at some point, maybe they'll be making some domestically made steel case 7.62 by 39. Some of these companies might just start up. I mean, if you don't have any more Russian coming over and there's a demand, somebody's going to meet that demand. So in a couple of years, I think you're going to start to see more domestically made or outsourced ammo from other countries other than Russia. Me personally, I would recommend 7.62 by 39 just because it's such a viable round. With a 5-round magazine, I can legally hunt with it in Nebraska. I mean, it's going to be comparable, I would say, to 30-30 in terms of power, ballistics, takedown power for hunting purposes, if you want to go that route with the gun. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Would you stick with 7.62 by 39, or is 5.45 what it's all about? What do you guys think?
Looking at it,
I think that 5.45 by 39 is pretty much equivalent to the 223 5.56. But I like the idea of having that versatility that you've got with the 312 diameter bullets. And you're right, that 7.62 by 39 is just about comparable with the 30-30 on horsepower. So, you're going to have basically a 30-30 semi-automatic rifle. And I'd like to ask AWAGS a couple of questions about this. AWAGS, if I go to looking for a second-hand AK, what are the problem childs that I should look for?
Stay away from anything manufactured by Interordnance, Century Arms, manufactured by Century Arms. If it's an import, they should be fine.
Okay.
But definitely have the gun shop. If you're looking secondhand, look have them check the headspace or get some headspace tools to check it. That's the biggest one. If it clears headspace and the front sights or the sights in general are relatively straight, you should have no problem with the AK.
I wouldn't buy one that's been mangled and torn up and bubbified. If it's got holes drilled into it, there's all kinds of crap strap. I'd go for something with a stock configuration. AWAG, can you drop in a no-go gauge with that without having to remove the bolt and stuff? Or not? Is there any? You can do a no-go. So if it closes on a no-go gauge, then you know that the headspace is out of whack, right?
Don't mess with that.
Yeah, and you can get one of those little headspace gauges for like $20, I think, and then you just drop it. You drop it in, it almost looks like a little bullet, and you close it. And if it closes on it, you got problems. So I would still go with a new production one, just because I don't know if you're going to see much of a price difference. You can probably get a new one for the same price as what people are asking for a used one, unless the used one is like an Arsenal or a Vepr. You can find one of those, which there's always somebody selling something. But I personally would just go new me. But that's just me. So
that was what I was thinking. Like I said here earlier before, trying to get that price down, because wow, that's a chunk of change when you're talking over $1,000. At least for me.
I hear you. Yeah, it is a lot of money, because I'm thinking, man, I can buy 2 cheap ARs for that price, basically. Yeah. But it's just like kind of like what Squid was saying. A lot of it has to do with the demand. If the demand's not there, the prices drop. Just like after the election in 2016, guns were just being given away because nobody was buying them. Everybody bought all these guns going up to the election. Production was being ramped up, and then the election happened and Trump got elected. And then, in my opinion, we started seeing prices on everything drop. Like ammo prices were bottoming out. There were, like, you were seeing just handguns going for dirt cheap because all these people were sitting on all this inventory. And prices were so low, and then things started happening. Biden got elected. We started seeing the riots. Prices doubled or tripled on a lot of our guns. Ammo prices doubled. Russian import ammo ban. It's just things just ramped up again. So it kind of goes in cycles. I think we're starting to see the prices drop off a little bit. I'm starting to see some decent sale prices on some of the guns too. But with us having conflict overseas, who knows how that affects domestic markets? I'm sure it could have something to do with it. But Mountain View says, how much 762 by 39 do you have hidden under the bed? I got a case of 1,000, Mountain View. I hope that would work. But all my mags are full too, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so AWAG, what about you? What would you go with for a caliber? If you're going to go buy an AK, would you go 762 by 39 or 545 or 556? What do you think?
So, like I like to say on a lot of my things, is each gun has a purpose. If I want something that's easy to feed or cheap to feed, now that 7.62 has been relatively going up there in price, I would lay claim to say that 7.62 by 39 is about the same price as 5.56, give or take. But the AK still serves a purpose for me. It is a big, heavy bullet, and it is moving a lot of kinetic energy downrange. It's used for, essentially, like I have it as like a barrier penetrating kind of round, like 5 to shoot through something, which is probably like never. I hope that never happens, but it's a purpose that I see that it fits. It's a daytime gun. It's not going to be a night vision gun. It's not going to be, it has a Tritchgun RMR on top. The what's it called? I'm really bad at words today. Goodness.
EOTech or what?
No. It's a Tritchgun. The RMR that has the tritium and fiber optic. That's the word I'm looking for.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That dot. At nighttime, it glows nice and bright with the tritium inserts, so you don't have to get it replaced until like 12 to 15 years. And then the fiber optics gather all the light in the daytime and make that triangle just a really, really bright, aiming point. But it is a shoot and scoot kind of gun. It's a gun made for moving. But I definitely have the 7.62 by 39 guns. I've built a couple 5.45 guns. 5.45 guns are really, really nice. They have no recoil.
I'll say they're such a light shooter. That's the thing. Is you got such a heavy rifle with such.
In my
it's
opinion,
even the recoil is even less than what you feel through an AR-15.
Yeah,
because a rifle weighs about a pound or two more on average, I would guess. But
yeah, give or take, they're still pretty light. But 5.45 guns are way more accurate than 7.62 guns because the barrel outside diameter is the same as the 7.62 by 39, but the inner bore diameter is smaller, so you get more barrel wall thickness, so you have a more rigid barrel. But either way, they're both really good options. However, I'm sticking to an AR-15 for your high velocity stuff, and then I'm going to go to the 7.62 by 39 in an AK platform for when you want to put the hurt down range.
And if you're an AR-15 person and you've got a lot of 5.56 or 223 and you want to get an AK and you decide to go with the 5.56 AK, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that magazine availability could be a little bit limited, along with prices, where you can get yourself a Magpul AK mag for $20, whereas your 5.56 mags could run $40 or $50 a piece if you can even find them or get them. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be proprietary necessarily, but do kind of keep that in mind if you decide you want to go the 5.56 route. There's nothing wrong with that, but a lot of guys are like, well, why would you even do that if you've already got an AR? Well, I mean, you might want to argue durability or ruggedness of the platform versus an AR platform. That's maybe one possibility. Or maybe you're just kind of curious about, or you just want a light shooting rifle. And I mean, that would be the 5.56 AK would definitely be the way to go. And, with prices varying between, $600 and $1,000, you can pretty much get all three of those calibers in multiple platforms. And a lot of it does come down to ammo costs. If we don't have any domestically produced 5.45 or 7.62 by 39 in a couple of years, it might get a little pricey to shoot that rifle unless you're stocked up on ammo. So that's something to keep into consideration also. A little piece of advice I would give you, just what I've seen after watching all the YouTube videos and reading reviews, I would stay away, me personally, I would stay away from a Gen 1 rifle from a company. If somebody comes up with a new AR or a new AK, or new AK specifically, I would probably steer clear of it for a year, let them work out all the issues with it before you decide to buy one, or wait till they come out with a Gen 2 or a Gen 3, just because they can have problems early on. I know you might want that new rifle because it's just coming out. Really let the testers put some wear and tear on them and see if they have any problems, because you might be surprised there might be a run of them that have issues, and then you got to send the gun back, and here you dropped $1,000 on a firearm that you can't use, that you don't have with you. So be a little leery of buying a Gen 1, especially if it's a new company or a brand new model. I'd give it some time, or find out what kind of testing they did on the gun before they decided to put it in production. Because I'm kind of curious if, I know some of these guns are like, yeah, we put, combined a million rounds through this platform before we decided to start selling it. It's like, okay, let's see if it doesn't have problems, and we'll go from there. So, Squib, what about you for AK? Are you 7.62 by 39 all day, 5.45, 5.56? What do you think?
7.62 by 39 Russian or nothing. I just don't see the point in it. For me, the AK is a very limited platform. It really doesn't do a whole lot. So I'm gonna run it with the original caliber, kind of like from my whole Milsurp kind of collector kind of thing, and the fact that the cartridge does what it needs to do. The AK is not a long range precision rifle. It's not a lot of things that maybe some people might think it is, but it's also not a bad rifle either. I don't see the point in, if you're gonna do 5.56, 223. Then why wouldn't you just get an AR? And I understand that they sell it in other calibers, or renditions of it in other calibers. It's kind of like getting a 9mm 1911. Why? I just don't, unless you need it as a prop gun to shoot blanks for a TV show filmed in Hawaii. I really just don't, but that's just me. You do you, but I just don't see a point in getting it in the other calibers. Now, if I got an AK-74 clone, then I would want it in 5.45, but I'm not even interested in that round at all. That's just another one. As many calibers as I have, and as many more calibers I plan to get, that's just one more. 7.62 by 39, good enough. If I get a second AK, it'll be a pistol. And it'll be 7.62 by 39, because there's literally no kick for that. I mean, you don't need any. You just stick it straight out in front of you, and the muzzle blast is pretty
it's pretty significant.
significant.
Yeah.
That's a good word. Yes, but
it's impressive. It's substantial. The concussion you feel, especially at like a look baffles over you. You feel it. It lights up. You can actually feel the heat come off the front of the barrel. Because I get that when I shoot granted my Bear Creek AR-47 has an 8.5-inch barrel, and it's just like a camera flash going off every time you pull the trigger. You can actually feel a little heat pulse come off the front of the barrel and the concussion every time you pull the trigger. So
grill them and grill them.
So for
you
me,
pretty much can,
Since 7.62x39 doesn't even kick in a pistol form, I just don't see a reason to go away from it. I can reload it. I do have steel case ammo, but I only use that for testing when I'm trying out a new mag or trying out a gun or something like that. And a little bit for collecting. Otherwise, I don't even like steel case ammo. I know everybody's like, oh, that's what it's designed to run with, and they're cheap and stuff like that. And maybe it's just because I'm a reloader or I'm an ammo snob or whatever. But every time I run down to the store for something, if they've got steel case Russian ammo, I buy it because one day it may not be here. And if I want to use it for a test 10 years down the road, I want to have it. But I don't see a need for different caliber, and I don't see a need for anything other than brass case.
Well, I will say this, Quib, the majority of the viewers agree with you because 77% say that their favorite AK caliber is 7.62x39. 7% was 5.45. 16% was 5.56. So that just kind of shows you where the popularity is.
If I'm at an event, say maybe an event in Nebraska in June or something, and somebody had an AK chambered in a different caliber, and they said, "Would you like to shoot it?" I wouldn't say no, but I'm not going to knock down 15 people to be first in line to shoot it. So
yeah. Let's see, what do we got here? There's some comments out there. Scott79 says, my AK-74 is a Riley Defense. I put over 1,200 rounds through the gun at this point, and it's showing zero signs of wear. John Z says, I hear Taliban ammo works well in U.S.-made rifles. Thoughts? I don't know. Didn't the Taliban get all their ammo from us when we left those pallets and pallets of gear behind? I don't know. Let's see here. RTG Parts has some pretty good 5.56 mags for cheap also, says Sketchy Roll. Scott79 says WVP makes 5.56 mags that are relatively cheap, $20 to $25. If that, you can usually catch them on sale for under that. Okay, that's not bad. Warsaw Patriot says you can make an AK ammo light shooter, change the recoil spring, and put on a different muzzle device. Yeah, that'll have a lot to do with it. I run a slant style brake on my my AMD, and it runs great. Mine came with the original tanker brake on the front of it, which weighs like 10 ounces. I think it weighs maybe even a pound. The thing is so heavy. It's like solid steel. I took that off and just put a slant brake on mine. It also shortens it up quite a bit too. I've already got a 16-inch barrel on mine, so it's like I don't need another 4 inches hanging off the end there. Mountain View says, I got lucky. I found a place selling 7.62x39 for $6.20 a box. If you go to the Norma website, I bought boxes, 20-round boxes of brass Norma 7.62x39 for $7 a box. And I should have bought more, but I just didn't know how accurate it was, how good it was. I wanted to test it first. And I'm kicking myself because they still do this now. $150 or more and you get free shipping. So at $7, it'd be worth it to buy a case of 1,000 because that's rivaling the prices. That's even cheaper than the steel case stuff I can buy locally. And this is boxer primed, so you can reload it. Is that right? Is it boxer or Berdan? Boxer primed, right? Yeah, you can reload boxer primed ammo. So you'd be able to keep the brass from it if you want to. Me, I'm running it through, a bolt action, so it's easy for me to gather it. But yes, you have a lot of different options there. Let's see. So anyway, we're talking, you're looking at about $5.99 for the starting price, up to pretty much whatever you want to spend. And then there's the idea, do you want to go pistol? Do you want to go rifle length? We're just basically focusing on, like I said, the rifle length today. So, guys, we are basically just about out of time here. I want to give people a chance to get over to Gizzard Gary's show. So it's been short but sweet. Like I said, we got about an hour, and that's pretty much about it. So I think we're going to go and wrap it up. Like I said, just throwing a lot of information out there, at you guys in 1 hour. Like I said, for me, my experiences, I don't have a PSA AK, so I can't comment on it. I don't have a Riley Defense AK, so I can't comment on it. All I can do is inform myself with what I can see and what I can read, how the overall package looks. Things to look for, you want to look for a forged trunnion. AWAG, help us out here. If you're going to buy new, 4150 barrel, preferably chrome lined, maybe or not. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Here's my mentality with chrome line. If you are running a machine gun, yes, go chrome line. If you're running semi-auto and semi-auto only, nitride is just fine.
Yeah, the nitride finish is something you want to look for. Like I said, the cold hammer forged, anything is good to have. Heat treated is always good to have in just about anything. Look for good warranty. Look for a 1-year warranty if possible. But like I said, just understand that you can get something good for $600, and then it pretty much goes up from there. So just kind of keep that in mind. So let's see, Squib, any final words of wisdom about buying an AK? Anything you want to say? Squib might have stepped off for a cup of coffee here. Let's see, single shot. Are you interested in AK now?
Yeah, I am. I've been interested in the AK platform for a long time. I've got a Russian SKS that is very well built. One of these days, I'm going to be able to get that thing and bring it up to the house there so I can do a review on it. And it's got one of the most interesting wood stocks I've ever seen. Real dark, but it looks like it's bird's eye maple.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah.
Really, really nice.
The Russian one that Stan let me shoot from SS Pawn, it was either a Tula or an Izmish, and it was awesome. I mean, just the fit and finish on it compared to the Norinco that I own. Like the Norinco's got all the casting marks in, the swirling marks in it and stuff, and the Russian gun was like smooth and had perfect bluing on it. It was beautiful, beautiful. And I can see why, you know, those Russian made SKSs bring the money that they do. They are a much higher quality finish. Not that it's going to do the same thing as the Norinco or the Yugo SKS, but you know, it's just much more quality went into the end product, I guess you could say. So, yep. But, all right, so let's go ahead and see who is joining us on the YouTube side here, real quick, and then we'll let everybody put in their final plugs. Blue Steel 44 was with us, Constitutional Republican was with us, and Squibload and Patriot in the Dark and Fluffy 10mm Jeep Guy and Constitutional Republican out there, and Kevin June joining us today. John Z is out there with all kinds of fun comments. Tacos and French fries joining in. Gunmetal Guy USA. Night Strike's out there saying hello. Hello, Night Strike. Missed you, buddy. Missed having you on the show today, but I know you've been a busy guy the last couple days, man. Sketchy Rolls out there. M. Gabriel G23. Scott 79. Warsaw Patriots. Let's see here. Mountain View's out there also. Let's see. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. That's pretty much about it from what I can see right now. Shows today, we've got, let's see, Gizzard Gary show is going to be going live here in about 28 minutes. Also, Rich White has a show on this evening. Is that correct? And then we might have the closer with Midnight Range TM. So, Squib, anything you want to say before we go?
Nah, I'm listening on the phone, jumping on the desktop, putting on my headset and trying to cook breakfast, so I'm all over the place.
That's all right, man. Don't worry about
like
it.
A good show, you know.
Yeah. Simple to the point, you know. Yeah.
I don't always have as much to add when it comes to AKs, but a good show and good flow to the show as well.
But it's good to get you sharing your experiences with O'Reilly Defense, because somebody who's a new customer, somebody who doesn't own one, they're going to be exactly in the same position as you. Maybe they've never considered one, or they're going to get one for their kid. You don't even know where to start, you know. So where do you even begin looking at, especially if you're looking at dropping $1,000? You know, you want to make sure you're not going to buy a piece of garbage, right? So it was good getting your perspective as somebody who's, you know, you said you've had a Wasser before, but somebody who's in the market for something new nowadays. You know, what are you going to get for the money, right? So cool.
Yeah, I'd go with Riley Defense. I would endorse them.
All right, guys, make sure you check out Squibload's channel over there. Got a lot of good content. And AY1000, anything you want to add before we go?
Just use your brain when looking at AKs. If something doesn't seem right, usually it isn't. AKs are very simple weapons. If you, like I said, if something seems off, look at it some more and don't jump the gun on anything. So, my words of advice.
Yeah. Yep. And again, make sure you get something that's got a warranty with it, especially if you're going to go used. Is there a user transferable warranty? What brand are you looking at? Just not that you couldn't get it fixed yourself or get it fixed locally, but if it's going to require some sort of a mega overbuild or some sort of replacement of parts, you want to make sure that it's going to be covered and you're going to be all set. So, all right, cool. And single shot, anything you want to say before we go?
Well, check out the channel over there on Rumble under Daywolf, and I haven't been too awfully active on YouTube at all because of you know what. So
yeah, no, I don't blame you, dude. I don't blame you. Yeah, it's frustrating for people sometimes.
Yeah, I got a good run this time. I'm running out to Wisconsin and out to Minnesota, And by the time I get back, I'll definitely be ready for another 2 or 3 days at the house. We've lost most of the snow up there now. Deer have been coming out the last 2 days where I was home there. I had 10 deer on back at the house 2 days in a row. And that's been kind of fun watching them walking around and finally getting something to eat. Those poor little buggers were starving this winter up there. Had a lot of snow,
They're getting thin and hungry, man. Thin and hungry. There's not much out there if they can't find the food. So, yep.
They've been munching down on that old grass pretty good, filling their bellies full, because they're going to be fawning out here sometime right off in the near future. So they've got to get their strength up for that event. It'll be curious to see them out running around. I got to keep an eye on my predators, though. I'm starting to see quite a few of them around, and there's one species that will not survive around my house if I see them. So
it's coyotes, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I do not want them around my home. I got kids in my neighborhood, and them things carry rabies. They will attack. So I don't want them anywhere near the kids in the neighborhood there. So
I don't blame you.
Everybody take care.
Yeah,
God bless. And America moves by truck. We'll catch you on the next one.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And like I said, coming up, don't forget, everybody, we got the show coming up on Thursday, Caliber Corner Weekly Edition from 6 to 7. I can't guarantee I can do it every week. I'll do it when I can. Next weekend, we should be able to go live Saturday. If something happens, I usually know by midweek, and I'll let you guys know. I still have contractual obligations with my job where I do have to work on Saturdays from time to time. So occasionally that does interfere with Caliber Corner. So either I do a super early episode or we just do it on Sunday. But we'll see how the schedule looks for next week. And if we can, we'll definitely do a Saturday episode. I haven't scheduled it yet, but the Thursday night show is scheduled. We shouldn't have any interruptions. So we'll see everybody at 6 o'clock Central Time on Thursday. Make sure you check out all the other channels. Subscribe to everybody here on the panel tonight. They got great channels also. And there we go. Nice Strike One says, shall not be infringed. And I think on that note, we'll go ahead and let it go. I want you guys to have fun. I want you to be safe. And as you know, we will talk to you soon, like on Thursday. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, Alicia.
Hey.